At first, it looked like one of the most ordinary towns in America. Quiet roads, small houses, friendly neighbors, and nothing that seemed unusual. But for more than 70 years, people lived there without fully knowing the truth. This is the real story of a place that did not officially exist on maps, where thousands of Americans worked every day without understanding what they were actually building. During the early 1940s, the world was at war. The conflict known as World War II had spread across continents, and the government of the United States feared something terrifying. Intelligence reports suggested that Nazi Germany might be working on a powerful new weapon based on atomic science. No one knew how close they were, but the possibility alone was enough to create panic among American leaders. President Franklin D. Roosevelt approved one of the most secret and expensive scientific programs in history. It was called the Manhattan Project. The project needed space, a lot of space. It also needed secrecy, isolation, and control. So the government quietly began searching for remote locations across the country. Eventually, they chose a rural valley in Tennessee, not far from Knoxville. In 1942, the government suddenly bought thousands of acres of farmland. Families were told to leave their homes, often with very little explanation. Some had only days to pack. Entire communities disappeared almost overnight. Soon, a new town began to rise. It was called Oak Ridge. At first, construction workers thought they were building an ordinary military base, but the speed was shocking. Roads, houses, schools, and hospitals appeared in months. Thousands of workers arrived from across America. Many were young, many were women, and most had no scientific background. They only knew that they were serving their country during wartime. The strange thing was that no one was allowed to ask questions. People worked in factories with large machines and complex controls. Some workers simply turned knobs or watched dials for 8 hours a day. Others sorted materials, recorded numbers, or operated switches. They were told their job was important, but not why. Even talking about work outside the workplace was forbidden. Letters were monitored, phone calls were restricted, security guards were everywhere. For many, daily life became repetitive and honestly boring. Wake up, go to work, follow instructions, come home, sleep, and repeat. The town had movies, dances, and social events, but everything was controlled. People lived with the constant feeling that something unusual was happening, yet no one knew the full story. One young woman later recalled that her entire job was to watch a meter and report when the needle moved. She had no idea what the machine did. Years later, she discovered that her small task helped produce material for the first atomic bomb. The scale of the operation was enormous. At its peak, Oak Ridge had more than 75,000 residents. It became one of the largest cities in Tennessee almost overnight. But it was not on public maps. Even some government documents used fake names to hide its existence. The goal of Oak Ridge was to produce enriched uranium. This was one of the key components needed for nuclear weapons. The science was extremely complex, but the workers did not need to understand it. Scientists designed the process. Workers simply followed instructions. Meanwhile, in other secret locations like Los Alamos and Hanford, similar hidden communities worked on different parts of the project. The entire program cost billions of dollars, which today would equal tens of billions more. Yet, for ordinary workers, life remained strangely normal. Children went to school, families went shopping, couples fell in love and got married, but everyone knew that secrecy came first. Even husbands and wives often worked on different parts of the project and could not discuss their jobs with each other. One of the most fascinating aspects of Oak Ridge was how little the workers understood. Surveys later showed that most employees believed they were helping to produce something important for the war, but only a tiny percentage guessed it involved atomic energy. Then, in August 1945, everything changed. The United States dropped atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The world was shocked. Newspapers reported a new and terrifying weapon with unimaginable power. Soon, government officials finally revealed the truth. The people of Oak Ridge opened their newspapers and realized what they had helped create. Many were stunned. Some felt pride, others felt guilt, a few felt guilt, but almost all shared the same reaction: disbelief. They had lived inside one of the greatest secrets in human history. After the war, Oak Ridge did not disappear. Instead, it became a center for scientific research and nuclear technology. Scientists studied medicine, energy, and materials. The town slowly transformed from a secret military project into a normal American city. However, the story did not end there. Decades later, researchers discovered that many workers had been exposed to radiation without fully understanding the risks. Some had health problems. Lawsuits followed. Government investigations revealed that secrecy had sometimes come before safety. At the same time, historians began to study Oak Ridge more closely. They found that the town represented something unique in American history. It showed how ordinary people could be part of extraordinary events without even knowing it. The story also revealed the power of organization and cooperation. Thousands of individuals performed simple, repetitive, even boring tasks, but together they achieved something that changed the course of global history. Today, visitors can walk through Oak Ridge and see museums, laboratories, and preserved buildings from the 1940s. Tourists often say the most surprising part is how normal everything looks. There are quiet neighborhoods, schools, and parks. It feels like any other small town. Yet beneath that normal appearance lies a powerful reminder. History is not always dramatic or exciting in the moment. Sometimes it's slow, repetitive, and hidden. Sometimes the most important events in the world happen in places that seem completely unremarkable. And perhaps the most astonishing truth is this: the workers of Oak Ridge did not need to be heroes in the traditional sense. They did not fight on battlefields. They did not know the full plan. They simply showed up every day and did their jobs. Their routine, their patience, even their boredom became part of one of the greatest scientific and military achievements of the 20th century. So the next time you pass through a quiet town in America, remember this story, because history is not always loud. Sometimes it's silent, sometimes it's hidden behind ordinary walls, and sometimes the people who change the world never even realize it until years later. That is the real, surprising, and almost unbelievable history of Oak Ridge, the town that did not officially exist, the place where secrecy shaped daily life, and where ordinary Americans helped create a new era without even knowing it.